Hey guys, welcome back to the Firsties podcast. I'm your host MILA.
And I'm your host MILA.
If you're new here, if you're a Firstie,
we're basically a safe space for first gens who dare to dream.
We like to laugh, kiki, argue.
Basically, two baddies with a mic.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Now let's get into this episode. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Firsties. Let's jump right into this episode. They see the title.
Welcome back, guys.
You guys loved our first episode. It was the only episode that we've done right on our faith.
Yeah, the only episode about our faith journey.
Yeah.
It wasn't really like,
faith. Yeah, exactly. Let's clarify that. Our faith journey.
Our faith journey. And then we're batch creating on a Monday. So yesterday was church. We're still getting off of our, like, I guess, our reset. Like, we're still, like, you know, energy-wise, so, like, we're just, like, relaxed.
Yeah.
So coming out of it, we're like, wait, like, the first thing we should talk about should be our faith. And just
and where we're at.
Where we're at in life, and just kind of talk about, I guess, the backstory of our faith.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, I mean, that's also our journey.
Journey,
but
yeah, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So to start out quickly, can you recall your earliest memory of your faith? Like, where it all started? I mean, I really had to, like, when I was preparing for this episode, I really had to, like, think about it too.
I know. My earliest memory, I feel like, which is also, like, my most significant memory, I'd say, is, like, when I was 7-ish. Yeah, when I was 7, like, my grandpa used to, like, pray every day and everything. And, like, the only thing that I would think of, like, my early faith journey is always catching my grandpa, like, praying. He's always sitting in those, like, you know those little chairs with, like, three-leg chairs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he used to sit there. Stool, but, like, in Ethiopia, it's so short.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And he used to sit, like, on those, like, it's outside, he's reading the book, like, his Bible, or, like, he's praying, or, like, early in the morning, every time when I'm waking up, all I would see is, like, a glimpse of him just.
That generation is unmatched, right?
He used to, like, even in the dark, he used to read it. I'm like, how do you see it?
It's like, I'm honestly,
which is so insane.
We need that generation of prayer, honestly. Yeah, they're
so
tapped in like no other.
Introduced to it through him.
I'm trying to think of my earliest memory of faith. The only thing that comes up is really, like, being in, like church school with, like, my cousins and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, like learning more about, like, in kindergarten terms, like, the stories of the Bible.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, getting into some trouble and, like, you know what I mean, not behaving. My parents were like, get your ish. What are you doing? Like, don't embarrass me type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Were you, like, in like the Sunbets?
Exactly, yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
So tell how old?
I think I was, like, middle school is when I...
when you left?
Yeah. Well, not left. I just didn't go as frequently.
Often,
and it was because, like, my extracurricular activities, like, started to pop off a little bit. So I started to do that, which is horrible, but that's the truth. Mm-hmm. That's my earliest moment. But I would agree with you that the older generation, and because we grew up Orthodox Christian as well... There's all these, like, traditions, right?
They would do, exactly.
Yeah.
Or, like, little things, like, I'm just realizing, like, we never ate without, like, prayer. Like, back in, like, we used to stand up. My grandpa has to bless the food. We all, like, stood, and I didn't get it, but I was just vibing there. Like, I was making fun of people, like, my cousins. Right, and then he would just, like, he has to bless the food. Or, like, something little, like, even when it comes to, like, the, like, you know how, like, the oldest person, like, gets served first.
Yes.
So they, like, something, like, the tradition, they kind of tie it down with their, like, you know, with their religion as well, too.
Yeah.
But everything's just, like, intertwined, and it's just...
So I'm so glad you mentioned that, because one of the talking points also is... Okay, so that's our earliest memory. Mm-hmm. Another talking point I want to bring up was, like personal beliefs versus balancing tradition.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to faith.
Yes, because there's some things that, like, that does not shock me at all. We did not grow up in the same household. We grew up in the same culture.
Mm-hmm. But we all have, like, the same, like, set of, like, things.
Yeah. Yeah, and we just, like, it's almost like we don't even question it. Not that we need to, or we shouldn't. I'm just saying we do not question it when it comes to, like, when you thought about, like, the elders always eating first. Like, that will always be what I do in my household as well. It's just a no-brainer.
For sure, yeah.
Do you think sometimes that's confusing? Because in my, like, college years, I just kind of, like, did my own thing for a little bit, and that's when I almost, like, went away from my faith for a hot second. Lost, floating, didn't know who I was. That's like, not, you know what I mean? If you don't know your creator, you don't know who you are.
Especially college, those are trying times. Like,
that's
exactly what happened. Actually, like,
That is exactly what happened. Yeah. You know, Tabitha Brown, I just have to mention, she says, like, every time I went away from God, like, I limped back. And he's like, come here, my child. And it's so we're like, you be limping back. He's like, actually limp back. Because he gives you that power, like, go ahead, choose. Yeah. Which is so, like, amazing and romantic. That's a whole other conversation. But, yeah, so how did you balance, like, tradition versus, like, personal beliefs? When you're 10, though, you're really just taking in, like, at some point when I was younger, I just believed I was Christian because that's the family I grew in. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was my environment.
That is true, though. Even to this day, like, I feel like if I was born something else, I would hope that, like, I would find my way back to, like, you know, my faith and stuff like that. Like, you know, God would help me. But it's so much harder. That's the whole thing, like, the whole conversation of, like, do you think another person, another religion would go to hell or whatever? Like, I can never fully, like, stand on one part because if I don't know what I would be if I was born into, like, a different religion. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause it's, like, it's familiarity. Like, whatever you're born into, you're always going to have that, like, that's going to feel like a safe space or, like, that's the comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? So I can't, I don't know.
Like, humbly say.
Yeah. So,
yeah. And who are we, honestly?
Yeah.
Like,
but to answer your question, I feel like I'm still, like, trying to, like, maneuver that part because we still have, especially, like, with us, like, trying to go back to church and try to be, like, back, trying to not do, like, religion just by ourselves and, like, you know, try to, like, have a community.
Yep.
Most of our Ethiopian community are, like, one, Orthodox, but then two, they still have, like, you know, like, the traditional mindset, and it's, like, it's still embedded, so it's so hard to, like, maneuver because then it looks like rebellion, but I'm like, I'm not rebelling, I'm just, like, I know when it's tradition or culture or when it's, like, you know, religion.
It's
until
uncomfortable,
I'm, like,
though.
educated. It's very
Isn't it?
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even, like, little things, like something as simple as, like, earrings. Like, they
talk
think,
about it, Melly.
They think this is fine, but anything else is demonic.
Correct.
I don't think the Bible had, like, you know what I mean? Like, little things like that is, like, I would, if it's, like, no earrings in general, I'd get it. But it's, like, those little, like specific things. I'm like,
and it's also an interpretation of the text as well. Exactly. So, yeah, I actually, talking about our journey, like, the first damn near 20 years I've been alive was everything I knew about Christ or the church or the Bible, other than, like, the Bible school I was when I was little, was an interpretation of an interpretation of an interpretation of a family member. So, like, when I say generation, that's what I mean by tradition. Not saying it's wrong or right, but, like, I'm a different point now, and it's a journey where I'm not saying it's like done or anything like that, but like, girl, go seek your own relationship. Do you know what I mean? But when I was younger, I was just, like, rebellious on, like, it just made me feel like you didn't include these people, or my male cousin got, you know, like, yelled at for wearing a pierced earring, or, you know what I mean? Or he's tatted, and I'm like, but he's in the church, he's trying, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? So that can be very unattractive is what I'm saying. And in college, you're just like, let me do me. And then I limped back. That
literally was me too. And I feel like if you guys want to, like, see our full faith journey, go ahead and watch the, like, the original video, because we're just going to, like, touch up on it. But that's how it is when it comes to, like, when I was in college, I keep saying, like, well, the Bible was in this, or the Bible was in that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a story. People read it. Like, it's not the fact that I didn't believe in the Bible, but I didn't believe, like, that just can't be it. Do you know what I mean? Or, like, people, like, I kept saying, like, people can put their personal opinions in the Bible, whatever. But then, like, all the theories that I've made, mind you, I'm saying all this about the Bible. Have I read the Bible? No.
Let's be real in the comments. That is real. We've all done it.
I have not read the Bible, but it's like I was already convinced by other people's interpretation of the Bible. So then I'm over here, like, you know, copying that basically. And then that's when, like, I started reading the Bible by myself, whatever. And, well, here I am. Like, what else?
Here I am.
What else do you want me to tell you? But so with like our faith journey and everything, what are some things that you've done that's helped you, like, grow better or get closer to God or whatever it is? Like,
one, truly, like, I know my biggest fear is to look dumb. That is just my biggest fear.
Really good.
Yeah, and so asking questions, really, like, we've had conversations with our friend group. We've had conversation as well.
Yeah.
As far as, like, dissecting a script, and we get into it, like, debates and stuff like that.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Damn near have to get Father Anthony involved. Like,
Oh my God, I know he's tired.
Like, yeah.
Every Sunday after sermon. And we're
like that poor man.
Literally.
That and having like-minded people, but I want to be mindful of not creating like an echo chamber. Like if you're just around people who are like, you do want to be around people who challenge you, and you like iron sharpens iron. So be around people where you're able, I don't want to say defend, but like speak your, like tell the truth, which is not our truth, but the truth, which is his. I think like makes us stronger in our faith, and also just feels good, if I'm honest. Like the best way I could love you is just to have your back when you're not in the room. Do you know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
or even when you're there, but do you know what I mean? Like that's, that. And then again, like you mentioned, like truly having like quiet time with, like sometimes it sounds crazy, but I do a lot of driving for like work, you know, that's a travel for work. And like, I imagine Jesus sitting next to me in the passenger seat and we genuinely kiki.
Wait, that's so cute.
No, but really. And I'm like, it sounds crazy, but sometimes like no music, no podcast, whatever. And I tell him about my day. Like he really is a friend. And I think,
honestly,
I don't know if I said it on the podcast actually. Remember I told you my prayer for my birthday was, I want to find the greatest love in my life. Cut to like a month later, which is just very vulnerable, and I might start crying. But I was journaling, and shout out to Mary. She got me like a devotional that I used for my birthday. But I don't know why, but I had a specific prayer of, I want to find the greatest love of my life. That was specifically what I used. I don't know why. I didn't say male. I didn't say anything like that. And then I started to write down like what exactly I want in a partner, like what I want. Which shout out to my therapist, what I want, which you should probably do this too, but what you want in a partner, what you don't want in a partner, and then what you are willing to compromise on.
Ooh.
Like jot it down. Don't put it in your notes app or whatever. She's like, it's a different kind of like
when you actually
manifestation or prayer when you're actually writing it down.
For sure, yeah.
And then I started reading the Bible and some scripture, and then I just realized, and I started crying. And I called Miriam, and I'm like, oh, the greatest love of my life is Jesus.
Oh, that is so cute. Yeah,
and like, it's a duh thing, but when I wrote out the specific love that I was looking for, like protective, like always there for you, like forgiving, compassionate, like I'm like, girl, he's right there.
It's been there all along.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Yeah.
So that was like a more recent moment for me. How do you implement like in your faith? What do you like specific things that you either do?
Guys, if y'all know me, I journaling my prayers, journaling like it's before I used to be like devotionals. Yeah. Not even devotionals. I used to like, I'm bad. Like I have like, I don't think I have ADHD. I just diagnosed myself honestly, but because
guys, do not come to Firsties.
You guys get it. We always self-diagnose.
To get your diagnosis, please.
Honestly. But because like when I'm praying, it feels so rushed, and like you would think like someone's like rushing me or like there's a timer. No, I always feel like I'm like, God, this. Like I just ask God like what I want.
You mentioned this before.
And then that's it. Yeah. So I always journal, and my journal is like literally just like me writing a letter to God. Basically, it's just like, oh dear God. I know. And
how do you start it? It's the cutest thing.
It's always like a thankful. You address who it is, who you're talking to. So do you know what I mean? So I'm like, all of that basically like gratitude and stuff like that has helped me just basically like I don't even like ask for stuff anymore because I'm like I feel too like grateful to even ask for anything. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like I'm so thankful.
I feel so seen.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Why do you think we do that?
What do you mean?
Like up until I was like, I remember like my mom walked in when I was praying once, and she just asked me like, no, like what do you pray for? Like I'm just curious. Yeah. And she never asked me like pray. I just started to do it, and I was just like, oh, like nothing. I just give thanks, and like our biggest fear is losing a loved one. I just don't want anyone to be ill or anything like that. Yeah. And then she was like, you're allowed to like ask for stuff, and I was like, and in my head, 12-year-old, I'm like stuff like. But we already have a house and everyone is good and we'll have clothes. Like there's people who are dying, you know what I mean? And she's like, but it's okay to be like, you have dreams, you have, you know, so it's similar that we had that too. Exactly, like I really just like, we're good. Okay. Like,
oh no, that's now before I used to ask everything, guys. Really? I used to not even address.
So why did you turn it? Why did you?
Because I feel like right now I'm in a place where like, I'm very grateful to like where I am at. And now like I've been moving so much with basically like either with faith or just like, I'm okay with not knowing. And I used to be such a control freak where like I want to plan my life. I want to do this. I want to do this. But then ever since I've realized like nothing I've planned has worked out, and it's literally the best case scenario because it's like things that I couldn't have expected has always like, worked in my favor or whatever.
That's such a good point.
So I'm just like, I'm so good. So I'm just like, I'm really there's so much things to like be thankful for. So like, it feels weird for me to like ask something else when literally something just happened 2 days ago. Do you know what I mean? So it feels like I'm just
so
like, let me
good.
just,
Honestly, you've been talking about this before where you just mentioned, like, think about it. All the things you planned didn't work out. And then all the things that worked out, you definitely didn't plan.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm so like,
so
grateful.
true.
Or like, I was going to say something, but I lost my train of thought. Damn. But maybe.
Don't you when that happens? You're like,
yeah,
that's such a good point.
I'm like hellbent. I'm
Hopefully
like remembering
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like very.
But don't you think we could do both?
Oh yeah, I still do.
Like
but I'm
ask
just
for stuff. But
I ask for guidance more instead now.
Ooh, let me tell you this right now. Be careful what you pray for.
Oh, obviously,
because he don't just give you the guidance.
And he's funny. Y'all know that. He's very funny. He's really funny. So you really gotta watch out. Yeah. But it's like little situations. I'm like, before I'd be like, God, get me this. But then now I'm like, guide me as I try to get this, or like. You know what I mean? Or like speak to me more. Like it just feels like now it's like a more conversation than just me like writing my list of things that I want to do. And then that's just it. But yeah, I feel like journaling, as you journal, it's going to personalize like your relationship a lot more. Like it depends with the person, but like at least it gives you like the space to just like see like how your relationship is and understand how your relationship with God is. Because when you're just praying, you're not even going to remember this like next week. Or like unless you see your answered prayer, you're probably even when you see your answered prayer, some people like, don't even remember.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like having it written down
really helps to document it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Are you the type to like pray a single prayer multiple times, or like you laid it down, you prayed, and then you move on? I
try to be the second person. But sometimes, like,
answer.
It just, but I wouldn't pray
ADHD.
it, though. You know what I mean? It's like impatience. Like, mine's not even ADHD. It's literally my impatience.
Because he heard you.
Like,
he heard us.
Yeah, like, I already know he heard me. But I'm like, after I prayed it, the next time when I'm like, that's when, I think that's how, like, the guidance came in. Because I didn't want to ask again. Because I felt like I'm nagging. Or, you know what I mean? But it's
Which
not
is
really
not
like,
true. But I feel you.
I feel
like
a test of faith. Because, like, he already heard me once. So, like, why do I have to ask?
Because doesn't it seem more attractive just to be like, oh, he got me.
Exactly. It's like a mindset thing. Like, I feel like I'm doubting my faith in God if I ask him again. So I'm like, now I'm trying to pivot. And then that's where, like, ask for guidance or, like, ask for wisdom. Or, like, even, like, to just, like, be okay with the situation at the moment. Like, I started doing different prayers and stuff.
How about that? Be okay with what you have.
Or even, like, situations.
Yeah. Because we know if he can't trust you with the few, he ain't going to give you the many. So it's like,
sure,
you got to, like, be grateful for what you have. Yeah, it's wild when you sit there and you're like, when you realize that you're sitting in your answered prayers and you're like, oh, and then the way that I look at it is like, for the longest time, I was thinking about this before you came over.
Yeah.
Like the age of 17 to 23 were just not cute for many reasons. Personal stuff, decisions I made, family stuff, college, like it just wasn't cute. And it's probably not a coincidence when I strayed. And that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the simple fact that at that point, I just always describe it like, I said it before, but it just felt like a gray cloud was over me. Like that is how you could genuinely describe it. And I never thought it would. I mean, it was, what was that? 7 years, 5, 6, around that amount of time. That's a long time. And then I was always like career focused. And then once my career is starting and like we're making moves and doing stuff, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That gives me enough evidence that everything else, like if he can do that for just my career and then other parts, which is like family, love, companion, all that stuff, we're set. That's all I need. So now my prayers look a little bit different and I like ease up on the other aspects of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Meaning the few, and then he'll give me the many.
Oh, for sure. And like, it doesn't even have to be like anything tangible. We're all living in like answered prayers because you're literally breathing and watching this video today. Do you know what I mean? Like you're alive. Like when you think of it, because you guys, if you watch this video, this episode or Firsties, y'all know when I go to sleep, I think of death.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
That's the common thing because some people like wake up and think of death. And then some people sleep. But whenever I sleep, I always feel like I literally think of it, but I'm like what am I going to do? Like, I can't really do shit about it. I'm going to go to sleep, guys. At the end of the day, I'm going to go to sleep. So I have to sleep. So every time when I wake up, I'm like, oh, another day. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, even something as simple as like, oh, you're healthy. You literally, like, we're here. Do you know what I mean?
My thing of that, because we need help. But because we're such extremists that way, like, you don't have to go to bed thinking about death every day. Like,
it's not even my choice. It's
I understand.
Drifting,
I know, love. I know it's not on purpose. Yeah.
But thank God I'm not like, I feel like if I had a negative like view of death, HERMELLA I would be a really like, I don't know, a paranoid person.
For sure.
And an insomniac. I don't think
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank God for that.
Cheat death.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That'd be a whole other thing.
Just so crazy. But
no, I was going to say for me, equivalent to that was like just you could always have it worse. Do you know what I mean? Like with literally anything. And for me, and compared to that is, I don't know why, but like being able to like move my hands and arms, I'm good.
Absolutely.
Everything else can be worked out. Anything when it comes to like health. And I think you agree that obviously it's like, it's kind of the same as like death, but like that, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because it's like it's the inevitable. It's the one thing. Only he cheated it, not us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and then the other thing that like that's really helped my faith journey, which is so like, it's such a duh thing, like obviously, but for me, like I said, like I didn't even read the Bible before for a while. It's truly understanding who Jesus is, like who I'm like believing in and like who I'm like praising and stuff. Because we get it, like, and not when I say like knowing who God is, not just like the love light, like the Jesus who gives and forgives and then love. No, like even Old Testament God. I'm talking about like actually understanding who God is. Because before, girl, me and Old Testament never crossed paths. I'm sorry. Like it used to
it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah. If you start reading like from Old Testament when you're like in your Bible reading journey, I commend you honestly, because you would be like shaking your boots until you get to New Testament. And it's like Jesus, and then you're like like love light. But actually literally, but actually finding out like, or like learning about God and like learning who I'm basically like believing in and serving or whatever, helped my faith a lot and just helped me like even just like have like more comfort, because I'm like, I know who, like, you know, I know who I'm believing in, or like I know who he is.
It's a relationship.
Yeah,
and you need to know your partner.
Even the negatives, not the negatives, but like, you know, even like his wrath, not just like his grace and everything, but
actually knowing him. Exactly. I think it comes down to when I was younger, I genuinely thought it was like, oh, like you have to do these things. And he's happy or he'll accept you or whatever. And then you grow up and you're like, oh no, it's actually just a relationship with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he has the capability of like accepting us and loving you and every single person in this entire universe, everyone who's ever lived, which is insane. And another thing when I was jotting down was like, I want someone to really care about all the details of my life. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's him too. Like he knows every strand of hair on your head. Like, girl, he's locked in with HERMELLA, MILA, everyone.
It's so
Firsties,
insane.
like
It's so insane, yeah. So if you were, let's say you're talking to MILA years ago when you were straight or whatever, like what would you, I guess like what advice would you give her that you would think would like push her to the right direction?
It's similar to like what I said before, genuinely and I'm looking at this, I rarely actually like look at the camera really, but it is not possible without him. That is it. It is not. You could try. Babes, try. Please, go ahead, try. It is not possible without him. I'm going to keep it cute, short. That's definitely it. How about you? Same thing. Young HERMELLA, trying to figure it out. Bebopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me,
what advice?
It would be literally drown out the noise and like isolate and just try to get to know him first. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like with me, my biggest issue was always just like you said, even like knowing about God like from word of mouth, or like only knowing about God on Sundays at the church where it's like people have already established their faith, they've already established, like, you know what I mean? Like, and plus I was a kid, so you were around people who are in 50s, 60s, you know, who are really like, actually they had 30 minutes, like they're very strict. So for a 7-year-old, like to know like the religion in that way would be like, I guess like intimidating.
Yeah.
So even in college, I would just say like, don't even like, just literally isolate yourself and get to know him and like read the Bible and everything.
And form your own like beliefs and opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. And know him before you make like a decision. or like a what's it called? Yeah, a conclusion. Like I was just jumping into conclusion when it comes to faith.
I think that's I just don't think people talk about it enough because it seems like you're supposed to have it figured out, and it's like a thing of like, no, we go to church because we are broken or we have things to figure out, and not because we're holier than thou and trying to like, you know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
Like, no, I'm saying like, no, I need help. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not possible. Whatever you're doing, it genuinely is not possible. I believe it's not possible without him.
And don't get me wrong, I feel like church is like church community and stuff. It really has its pros, but I feel like it only has its pros once you're also equipped. Like, I don't think going into church and having like your community before having a formulated like thought by yourself is like good, because then you're just going to be led by whoever you're around. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't have the discernment to, because everyone goes to church and everything, but we don't know they're fruit of the spirits basically. So you don't have the discernment to know who to like, who to follow, which church to go to, which, like little things. Who
to pray with.
It's really, really, exactly. And it's just such a really like, important thing too. So that's why I'm like, I feel like once you know your discernment, once you know your thing, and once you know that you're good by yourself, like your relationship with God, with like within yourself is really good, then you can like go into society.
Yeah. The one thing I also want to bring up, you mentioned it earlier, and I kind of want to dissect it a little bit more, is the whole like living in this world, doing like trying to achieve certain things, and you do not know the outcome. Or when we were younger, we were more, I wouldn't say calculated, but we like do these certain things and you get this outcome. And now going as hard as you are with maybe our careers, the podcast, our YouTube, our vlogs, whatever, and you don't know how, like, that's what faith exactly is. So how's that journey been with you as far as like you as a creative? Yeah. And then I genuinely, anyone who's a creative, this is so tough. Your faith has to be there. Yeah. So how's that process been, you like being a Christian, but also being a creative?
I feel like at first, like, I know we always say like, if it's in my heart, like, obviously it's going to happen. Or if it's in my heart, like if I ask, it shall receive and everything. But also the harsh truth, it's like, I don't know how to explain it without like, it's not discouraging, but it's just, let's say you're asking God for money, and then even if God doesn't give you the money, you should still believe that God is a provider. Do you know what I mean? Because like, then if I'm only believing that God is going to give me, like, God's a provider, if I'm only getting money, then it's like it's a vending machine type of
transactional type thing.
Basically. Yeah,
literally.
So with content, I felt like this is like something that I would want to like, that I would want to do. I have it like in my heart. I don't know for what reason it might be, or I'm like, like, you might know what like your passion is, but regardless of like the outcome, or regardless, like my intentions for it and God's intention for content for me might be completely different. But even if it might not happen, I'm in the point in my life where I'm like, I'm going to do it because like this, like, it fulfills me or whatever, but it's not for the outcome. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I believe in God and I'm going to do it with God because if I do, then he would get this. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is a God like that would like make your dreams come true, whatever. Even if my dream doesn't happen, that fact still like doesn't change. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's helped me like, now I'm just like literally just vibing because I'm like, if it happens, it
vibing
happens.
with
like,
Jesus.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, I think, guys, you guys need to watch The Chosen. I feel like ever since I watched The Chosen, on like one of the episodes, he was like, I didn't know this verse until he said it on the show, but he was basically saying like, I guess it's God speaking to Isaiah, and he was like, for like my because like the sky is like higher than the earth, or basically, so are like my thoughts over your thoughts, and like my will over your will. So like whatever you would want, you can want that, but what he wants for you and his like idea and plans for you are much greater. So that's gonna happen. Whether you like it or not, low-key.
Yeah. You like it or not,
low-key. But it's
I'm telling you, he gags us.
Literally. But then
Sense
it's like,
humor.
This is why I go back to like knowing who you're serving, because you know who God is. I'm like, I'd rather that actually than
if you have trust in him and you faith. Yeah, then
exactly.
Especially when now, like when things don't work out, because that can be kind of a harsh reality too.
Yeah,
you're like, oh my God, okay, that was me dreaming big, because I have a pea-sized brain compared to what Christ is able to do, right? Because I'm just human. And I'm like, oh, that didn't work out, and I was dreaming big. okay, I can't wait to see what actually he balls out.
Literally.
It's like that teddy bear meme. Everyone has seen the teddy bear meme. It's like, girl, just wait.
Just wait.
Like,
and
let go.
Like, literally. And you know what's like, what's the game? Like, is it GTA or Minecraft? It's like, as you're walking, the world like formulates. Like, it's not like a set world that you just walk around. Like, you know, like when you're walking. Familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know what game it is, but like in most games or whatever, the reality is not there until you're there. Like, well, as you're walking, it's building. So that's how I see my content creation journey, because like obviously no one has it like sorted out and stuff. But before, I used to think
if they think they're not,
that I would want it to sort it out before.
Yeah.
But now it's like, as I'm going, because I feel like I'm like, as long as I do it with God, it's just like, it's gonna formulate and he's just gonna lead.
I mean,
look
how far you come.
I mean?
Like, I don't recommend it because cringe, but I would never go look back at one of my very first YouTube. I'm not talking about Firsties either. I've archived it. Because I literally the other day, Miriam sent me a 6-year memory of us in my childhood bedroom, like doing some challenge together. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for the glow up. Thank you, Lord. But I was like, who's that girl? Like, is that my brother? What's happening?
I haven't watched a single, like,
but look how far we've come. But to your point, when I was younger, I definitely thought like God chooses the people that are equipped, when really it's the opposite. He chooses you and then he will equip you with everything you need. Exactly. So the confidence, like you get, like, girl, I've talked about imposter syndrome, where when you get an opportunity, you're just like, wait, how am I supposed to be here? Whatever. The fact that I got it should be evidence enough. I've said it before, that you're supposed to be in that room or at that table or whatever the case is. Exactly. And he'll, like you mentioned, like, we've talked about it before, like this was not what it was when we first started. It kind of, I added this and you added this and we did this, editing styles, all that stuff. And so it genuinely comes back to just genuinely have faith. Like, it doesn't have to make sense. Honestly, your future is not your business. That's all up to Jesus. And just like vibing with Jesus. Honestly, that might be the title of this episode. Literally vibing with Jesus.
Honestly. But if you're like creative, or even like, honestly, like even just trying to like pursue like anything in your life, I guess, I would highly, highly, highly recommend reading Proverbs and Ecclesiastics. Like, those two together, that combo, because it's like Proverbs, it literally tells you like, oh, like, you know, do your best, you do this, and then God would reward you with this. But then Ecclesiastics is literally telling you like, even if like there might be a situation where like that might not happen, but it's still like God, because it's God's wisdom over yours. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you get to trust in his wisdom over everything too. So I really
I know you mentioned this with The Chosen, because I love it too. Do you remember the scene where Jesus was speaking with James over the way that he walks?
I love that.
Cried, because that's exactly what you're talking about. That kind in a way, as far as like I could literally cry thinking about it. I see it all the time. So and I'm just like, it takes me like a moment.
Oh my God, what's like? Okay, tell me like scenes that like that really got to
me. So that one specifically, which I'll tell the audience, essentially like he's saying like, Jesus, you're able to heal all these people. Like, what about me?
Oh, James, by the way, guys, he's like limping and he's like
yeah. And he's like, you're healing all these people. I know you. I believe in you. Like, can you please?
You are a healer,
yeah. Exactly. And then the way that Jesus like consoled him, and the way that he took it in, like, okay, I'll sacrifice, and said like, I promise you, in this next life, you're gonna like run and leap. I was like sobbing. And basically what he was saying was, there's already enough stories of him healing people on earth, but imagine you keeping your faith and I don't heal you.
Exactly. Like, believing God is a healer,
even if it doesn't work out.
Exactly.
I'm literally about to cry. Yeah, because that's a lot.
Exactly. But I feel like most people,
a lot.
That's a hard thing to bear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely, like, that was my favorite.
Because then you think about like people who like are ill and like real ish happens in the world and you still have your faith. That's a whole other like unmatched thing.
And it's like things that we can't see is like from the background of it or whatever. So like, let's say like one person's sick, right?
Yeah.
Their faith, or like even like someone's like, yeah, I guess let's use that, because their faith, or like they have hardship, like their life, like they just don't have like great quality of life or whatever. You never know how many like lives they've saved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's always, that's why like if you're preaching like, what's it called? Like like cotton candy type of like faith, always it's like them people who just like their life is not like reflecting that, basically,
they can't connect.
They're gonna stray away from God. But people who are very realistic and like they're very like, they just show like life how like as it is, you never know like how much like your struggled or like the ups and downs that you're going through is motivating so many people. Do you know
exactly. Yeah. And in that scene, it just like almost reminded me and taught me that like it's not about us. Like it's not about getting healed. It's about the glory of him. And regardless of what the outcome is, that should still be like true. What scene from The Chosen have? Because I know they just dropped season 5, right? Or no, they dropped the trailer.
I think it's in the theaters, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
But I thought it was like a movie, or is it like a whole season?
Oh, I'm not. My friend just texted.
Yeah.
Because no, I have to take breaks. Like
really, and I have to watch like one episode.
Like, girl, I can't be waking up with puffy eyes. Like,
but I love it so much. Oh no, I know. So much, like that was the perfect.
My heart is like eyes puffy.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think
I gotta
finished
get
an episode without like crying. But I would say, what's my favorite? One of my favorite ones is when they got the paralytic from the roof.
Yeah,
it's the fact that like Jesus healed him because of the faith of his friends.
Can we talk
Not
about
even
that?
Him. Like,
so pick your friends wisely.
Immediately, bro. Literally, like your group, your circle
is your
matters.
Yes.
Exactly, and it's just like that was just so beautiful to me. Like that, I really like. I feel like it really got to me. What's another one?
Yeah, because your friends are your like you,
know
love
what I mean?
us.
Like, I just
you do love us. You be trolling, but you do love us.
I just love my girls.
Even her touching me is uncomfortable because I'm like, you don't do that.
No. Oh wait, you don't think I'm like?
No, until this sounds so strange. Unless I hug you, you don't hug me.
I do hug you.
No, I'm more like touchy feely.
You are. I feel like you're more
you're
than me.
not.
I think it's like relative. I feel like I am.
When you're lit.
Yeah, I'm more of like a just this type of person. Like,
I
just want to like, you're I feel like you're more like affectionate than I am. Yeah. She over here making me look like Cruella, like in the corner. Like
I'm telling you, golden retriever, black cat.
She's over here like, okay. But what's another one?
I mean, they genuinely all make me cry. I would say also when Peter stepped out to meet Jesus on water. It was like if you have your that like that, like okay, come to me then.
Peter was kind of pissing me off.
That's Peter. That's Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also of course like the she touched his garment and was healed, and it was his faith. It was her faith. Yeah.
When he said my daughter, that just really. I love that shit so much.
There's so many scenes. Honestly, this is just a plug for The Chosen. We're not even sponsored. No, but honestly, please, if you can. But
we love y'all.
No, that because just these actors also just the pain in her eyes and stuff. Exactly. And when he said like truly, it was your faith that healed you. Just saying like it was your friend's faith that healed you.
Exactly. It's just so beautiful.
Like, isn't that amazing?
I just love it so much.
I know.
I feel like Chosen just did it like so like perfectly. Like,
and then can we also talk about this in the movie? But the interview, the actor who plays Jesus, like I think I said it to you.
He goes through like a lot of like spiritual warfare. Like
I'm sure
when he's shooting.
That's the heaviest role of all.
That's a heavy, yeah.
No, because then let's be real. Imagine him just walking down the street.
I can't imagine that.
You know, there's people who would genuinely they can't.
Yeah, they would think he's Jesus. And everything. And he played it like one thing I really, really, really loved about The Chosen. It's like because I'm comparing it to The Passion of Christ, and The Passion of Christ was mainly about like his crucifixion, whatever. Yeah. It's so like gruesome, but this one, like the Jesus character, he was a friend. He was a neighbor.
You saw the character.
Do you know what I mean? Like he
sense
truly
of humor.
was a person.
Sense of humor.
Exactly. Oh, he
gagged.
Yeah, I was laughing. Like he was so like they've personified him in the best way possible because it's like that I would expect Jesus to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Like and likable, very like, and then even like him being exhausted. Like they showed the ups and downs of him, and I loved it so much. Like it's amazing.
And I always get nervous when there's a depiction of because you honestly never know if it's like fact checking. You have to fact check. You know what I mean? Because of media, it's the easiest way to like it's cash grab almost.
Literally every little,
and it's so successful.
But you know what it is though? Even watching the show, maybe it's like I don't know. Like if we were in that position, we would never know. Actually, but I pray. I'm so glad that we're not. But I still can't fathom like how Judas changed. Like I can't, like, you know how sometimes you can predict like when a person becomes a villain? I can't predict how Judas can go from following him, seeing miracles literally like flat out to like the betrayal part. Because Judas is like he's portrayed as such a nice person, but who just like is just a type A. He really is type A, but like financial. Do you know what I mean?
But don't you think that's the point? Like, I get it. Like, how can I completely agree with you?
Really?
But
I can't.
I think that's the point
like
of
the
like
devil or something. Because like I truly can't fathom like how like he can go from, and he was like, I could have seen like change from like any other character. I guess like on the show, like Judas is very like, oh, he's like teacher's pet type of vibe, like, you know, and like warm. I think that's why I'm like surprised, because if Judas was like more reserved, or if you can see him like just wonder or whatever, then I can be like, okay, maybe. But then I just can't see it.
I think that was by design. I think that was part of like the
point of it.
Yeah, I think so, because I felt the same exact. Because I'm just like,
that's Judas. Do you know what I mean?
I'm usually 2 steps ahead. What's going on?
I could have clocked you. I still can't see it.
I could always clock a hater. And it's just
that's what I'm saying. And it's like, it's not even the fact that he didn't believe. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what gets to me, I think.
I know.
Because most people, like, if you're doubts, if you're hesitating or whatever, and then, like, you know, you have reasons not to. Okay, but it's like
and we knew it was gonna happen. I was still shook when I saw, I'm like,
like it's like, I think it's like it stopped when like as it's like edging on, like him like betraying him. Yeah. I just cannot see it.
Yeah,
that's life, honestly.
It is, honestly, that we should add that to what do you do for your faith. It's like, like the take with a grain of salt, but like media. In the media, like your podcast, your movies and stuff, take that with a grain of salt. Like, do your research and again go to the text. But yeah, absolutely. And then also having these conversations are just like my fave as well. Like, what's your favorite scene? What's your most uncomfortable scene? All that stuff. And the one thing I want to mention is, I think I sent it to you too, of like the actor who, when he got interviewed, it very much is, obviously he's not Jesus, but it's very much Christ-like. It would be a bummer if he was playing that role. And then he was very much an actor, very much egotistical, but like it would be honestly such a bummer. And they asked him, like, if you could have a coffee with Jesus, like, what would you ask him? Or what would you say? He's like, how did I do? Like, did I get it close? Sobbed.
I'm like, she's gonna sob.
That's it. Like, how did I do? And it choked up the reporter who's supposed to be like, guys, like, and on that note,
no, literally, this is so.
He just said, "How did I do?" Like,
but honestly, like he can't work as an actor.
I'm so sorry to tell you.
You need to go home.
Like,
it's literally like,
what is he going to do? Grey's Anatomy?
Like, what is he going to do? I'm gonna show. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed, bro. Okay, one thing I didn't like though, they had bloopers in the end. Like in some shows, I skipped it. I don't want to see. What's it called? John the Baptist misses lines. Like there's a scene.
It's too
John the Baptist coming out and he's like, Son of God or something, and then he's like, oh, like let's reshoot.
Like, JK, LOL.
Who thought of that? I don't personify them, like just because of the show. Do you know what I mean?
But that's exactly what I mean. I do feel like that actor.
Bloopers. I feel like we've lost the plot with bloopers.
But it is a show on Netflix.
It's about the Lord.
I know.
It's crazy. Like, he literally said, "Oh, and then walked back to his cell.
Not John the Baptist.
John the Baptist. I'm like, no. I literally, that was the last, like, that was the only blooper I've seen. I was like, no. And then
that's
I
hilarious.
Some research too, and most of them are like Christian. You know that, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mary Magdalene's not Christian.
She's let me get this check.
Yeah, I was like, Mary. And then, Peter's Jewish.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Yeah.
I don't get it.
But yeah, still on our faith journey.
We really lost the plot. We're talking about our favorite shows and our favorite scenes.
I know. But I mean, it is part of our faith journey. Yeah. It is.
That is
true. We're locked in.
It does help you. So start with that, I guess.
Yeah.
The Chosen.
Yeah. And honestly, truly for me, another highly recommend, because you're talking about your recommendations. Follow your dreams, and it will make you cling on to Christ even more, because this is not for the weak. And you just sometimes think you're Delulu.
Absolutely.
The enemy tends to attack you sometimes, try to confuse you. So like truly, actually, finally believing in God and myself. Because that was the thing though, is that when I was younger, I was like, oh, Mila, you need to do better. Like, believe in yourself. Girl, no, you just didn't believe in God at the time. Because if you believed in him, then everything will work out. Like, because who are you but he's that guy. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, this was a really nice combo.
It's one of our favorite topics.
I love this. Yeah. Please like let us know your faith journey, because I would love to read like other people's like, journeys as well too. And then
let's stay on each other for sure.
Yeah. And then like anything that you guys want to talk about when it comes to like faith or like questions. I don't think we're equipped to answer questions.
I'm gonna hold you. Probably not.
We're not, but
But we could invite guests on who probably are.
Exactly. Or we can just like tell you things from our perspective or like our life, like our testimony.
Absolutely,
you know what
yeah.
But I would love to have like, you know, a little online virtual conversation, coffee chats.
Yeah. This community, that would be amazing.
That'd be cute.
Yeah. That is it for this episode, guys. Thank you for everyone who's listening. Not both of us crying.
I know, we were tearing up,
but we didn't let it drop. That's for season 3. No, I'm joking.
Season 3, we're get your tissues. That's it. But,
that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, viewing, subscribing.
Thank you, guys. Go ahead and follow us on social media. And also be on the lookout for Firsties Plus. We have our little, you know, bloopers, challenges, and everything. So, yeah, keep up there and let us know. Comment down below.
Yeah, and we'll see you in our next episode. Bye guys.